Success is the only revenge. As you expand, they shrink into irrelevance. As you get louder, no one can hear them. You don't beat them, you cast a shadow so big, no one can see them to begin with. When people copy, they copy the wrong stuff because they don't know why it worked to begin with. And when it breaks, they don't know how to fix it because they didn't build it. So don't sweat it. Copycats will always be behind. Success is the only revenge.
Yeah.
It is such a lovely... There's that...
Want me to tell you the story behind it?
Damn right.
Yeah. So I was 15 years old. So this was really early in my life.
Still jacked.
Still jacked. Always jacked. Perma-jacked. And I... this sounds so lame. So I had this teacher. So I'm a freshman in high school. And I might have been 14, whatever the age is. And I'm walking through the hallway, and this teacher is like an admin of some kind, walks out of his office, and he's like, son. And I was like, I'm like, either in trouble, what am I gonna do? And he's like, you work out? And I was like, no. He's like, why not? And I was like, I don't know how. He's like, I'll show you. He's like, you got the genes. And so that teacher, Mr. Gibbons, ended up working out with me every day in high school and showed me how to work out. And he probably saw on some level that I was some angsty teenager that felt angry about whatever. And I, during our workout sessions, would be like, this guy said this to me, like, or like this, whatever. And I was like, man, I'm going to come back at our 10-year reunion. And I was like, I'm going to show him. I was like, he's going to be working for me, like blah, 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 right? And he's like, no, he's not. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, let me just have my moment. Right? He's like, no, he's not. He's like, and you're not going to do that. Not if I have anything to say about it when you come back for the 10-year reunion. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, because if you come back at a 10-year reunion and say, hey, John, like everything I have, look at me now. He's like, the guy's going to laugh and be like, you did all of this to try and prove me wrong? Man, I feel sorry for you. And when he said that, when he actually played out what my like revenge fantasy was in real life, I realized it looked stupid.
Petty.
Yeah. I looked like the beta in the fucking situation,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so he was like, the only thing that you can do is win so big that all of them constantly compare themselves to you. And then you'll forget they exist. And that's when he said, success is the only revenge. He's like, it's not the best revenge. He's like, it's the only one. There's no other revenge. Because everything else is petty. Everything else does show that you were thinking about these people all day long, which means they win by default. He's like, all you can do is think about your goal and winning. He's like, and when you win, that's when you become so big that they shrink into irrelevance. You cast a shadow that no one even can see them behind you.
This is the nuance, I think, on the previous point when we were talking about the toxicity of that fuel long term.
Yeah, you can see me light up.
Yeah. Well, I think that when you think about the activation energy of using the things that you don't like, you have to be careful that you're using them and that they're not using you still. And a lot of the time, I get this, and in my more juvenile moments, I see myself do this, where I'll know that there's a game that somebody else that I don't like cares about, and I'll imagine myself playing that game to beat them so that I can stick it to them purely for the reason of sticking it to them. Let's say that there's someone that really cares about being in shape, and I'm not in as good shape as I have been in the past, and I know that with muscle memory, if you give me 18 months and a good amount of testosterone, like the thing that they care about, I would be able to make them feel really bad about.
Right.
Okay, so I would hijack my own direction purely to try and prove somebody else wrong in a desperate and somehow believe that that's me taking control of my life. Are you kidding me? I'm allowing them to ventriloquize me through pain that they didn't even mean to give me.
Yeah. The woman in the black dress.
The black pill equivalent?
Right. No, like now it's like not even a distraction from your main goal. It's like, I'm going to make a new goal just to wrong this person and then somehow make up the story that I'm in control of my life when I'm really just acting in complete reaction to this person. And so in so doing, in beating them at their own game, they've already won by default.
Yep. Because they got me to change the game I was playing.
Right.
Forget about who won. It's like, dude, you were over there and now you're over here. I see this with a lot of people. I think that it contributes to a lot more of why and how people adopt societal norms, that the resentment that they have, it's not just other people want this thing, therefore I mimetically want to do this thing too. It's, I know that other people will respect me and that my resentment will feel justified and manifest if I win at it. And that's really compelling. That's like a motivational spit roasting coming in from both ends. And it's really, really powerful. And you need to be careful.